So good morning and welcome you to it's Wednesday, the 17th of June, a time of 5 minutes and 5 days to read and reflect, reset around God's word. And very interesting as we continue with the book of Proverbs, and we're in Proverbs chapter 26 this morning. Honor is not fitting for a fool. Well, it says, do not lower yourself to the level of a fool, but answer him that he does not become wise in his own eyes. And only ask him to expose the lie, because he might yet learn. But a conceited person is beyond help. It says a lazy person is full of excuses in order to avoid working, and he rolls over in bed without making any progress. And he's so apathetic that he cannot even be bothered to lift his hand from the plate of his mouth. Troublemakers get involved in matters that do not concern them. And we see that happening every day. And their gossip keeps quarrels alive. And they mask their hatred and malicious intentions with kind words. And then there's the principle of cause and effect that reminds us that plots usually backfire on the person who creates them. In Proverbs chapter 27, it's a father speaking to a son and saying, "My son, be wise." And it reminds us to remain humble and not to boast about tomorrow or about the future, because we do not know what tomorrow holds. But he says it's rather better for someone else to praise your accomplishments, because wrath and jealousy are more destructive than physical burdens. The honest, constructive rebuke, and this is so important, when your true friend tells you things that you need to listen because you know his heart, says the honest, constructive rebuke of a friend is better. It's better than hidden, unexpressed affection, because you need people in your life that in love will challenge and help you grow. You see, your well-intended enthusiasm can become a nuisance. Imagine shouting over the wall to a neighbor every day, "Hello, how are you?" Because he says, as your reaction and choices eventually will reveal your true character and how you handle your own praise and compliments, but rather be diligent in and careful in how you manage your resources, because wealth is not guaranteed, and how you tend to your responsibilities will bring security to your household. In Proverbs chapter 28, the lifestyle versus the lifestyle of the wicked versus the lifestyle of the righteous, this contrast, and it says, honest people do what is right, but the wicked live in constant fear, worried about who's chasing them. And it's better to be poor and honest, because dishonest wealth rarely lasts long. But those who work hard will have plenty to eat. But those who chase quick rich schemes, you know these pyramid schemes, Ponzi schemes, they will always face trouble. So there's no quick rich. We work hard in what we want to receive and achieve in life. Do not cover up your sin, but be honest and confess and turn away from your sin, and God will show you mercy and forgive you. And the absence of good leadership causes a nation to suffer, and wise leaders bring stability. But those who give to the poor will never lack anything, but those who ignore them will face curses. Therefore, those who try to get rich by trusting in their own thoughts and their own foolish ways, it will amount to nothing. But true wisdom comes when we ask advice and we trust in the Lord. I want to close off this morning. It's a lot out of Proverbs. There's so much as I'm preparing the whole time I'm learning Proverbs, because it's so full of wisdom. And if only we had known it when we were younger. And Paul's writing in 1 Thessalonians chapter 3, it's a young church. He has a fatherly pastoral care for this church. He's concerned about their faith, and he has a deep pastoral care that he would remain and send Timothy ahead of them. But he reminded them that he had warned them of hardships and persecution. And that's why God warns us in his word that if we want to be godly, we will experience persecution. And he says he had warned them of persecution and hardships, but he was also worried that the devil would use this sufferings that would question their faith and render his work useless that he had done to them and worked with them. But Timothy returned with the good news of their steadfast faith. and the love which they had. And this gave him so much joy that he expressed his desire to return to them, to help them grow in areas of their faith where they were still lacking. He prayed that God would cause their love towards, as disciples, towards each other would continue to abound and increase, and for their hearts to be blameless in the sight of God as they looked forward to the second coming, to the return of Jesus Christ with all his saints, and that they would endure. And that message speaks into my heart, and I hope it will speak into your heart too. May the Lord richly bless you. Shalom.